welcome to the Hawk Podcast. Right now we have Cody with us right here. Cody is aka the Iceman per se, and Cody has a social media platform where he plunges himself in ice. He's gotten millions and millions of views and a lot of fans just from this exact stunt that he pulls off. So tell us a little more about that, Cody. How did you get into that? How does the ice make you feel?
Yeah, so I ran across Wim Hof, which a lot of ice bath people are probably well familiar with. He's kind of the OG of ice baths. And I just saw a documentary about him, got really intrigued by what he was doing and why. The immune system support is really kind of the big thing that got me intrigued about it. And I started messing around with different types of cold therapy. I just started going outside barefoot in the snow, cold showers, and then just gradually progressed to where I was taking ice baths pretty frequently. And then this past year, I set a personal goal to go the entire winter without missing a single day. And so that's really what got me posting daily. And it caught a lot of people's attention, and here we are.
Of course. And then for you as well, you even mentioned that you had a friend that you told this to, that walking barefoot and shoveling the snow outside. And you said that, and this is based on last time we spoke, you said that he's not cold anymore. There's a lot of things that are, a lot of health benefits per se that go into it as well.
He hunts a lot. And so he was just telling me how his feet get cold all the time. So I just told him, hey, just do these brief exposures, kind of work your way up, and now he can go out all day. Feet never get cold. In fact, you do it frequent enough, like for me, I can't even have sheets on my feet when I'm in bed because my feet will just get so hot. So your body learns how to heat up really efficiently.
100%. I see a bench rack behind you as well. From what I'm witnessing as well. Obviously, you're a power lifter, right? And you've broken some world records, according to what I know. Would you mind naming them? What world records did you break? How did you get to that point?
Yeah. So I've competed in powerlifting for probably 5 years or so now. There's different divisions, weight categories, age categories, and in the World Powerlifting Congress, the WPC, I had 5 world records. One of them got broken this past summer, so currently hold 4 world records. Jesus, and then I got somewhere around 20 national records and then a handful of state records. Mm-hmm. And they range from different categories and geared or ungeared, which is just equipment that you wear. So there's like bench shirts or squat suits and different things like that.
Mm-hmm. So clearly you're very motivated, obviously. And we talked about this as well, just a little bit briefly off camera, but the reason to your motivation is kids, like the kids that you have, the kids that you're currently raising. And I asked you, and I was like, hey, I mean, why do you wake up in the morning? And you had told me that it's because of your kids, it's because of your family. And I automatically respect that. Something I don't respect is when people wake up and they chase their quote unquote money. So anybody who wakes up and is like, man, I want to get rich, this and that, it's not going to happen because your intentions need to be pure. So for you, it's the kids. Would that be correct?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I agree with you 100%. And, I want to be a good example for my children, and I want them to see what I'm doing every day and know that they can push themselves to do more and be better, and always strive to be better version of yourself every single day. And if we're not pushing ourselves, we're not growing, we're just stagnant, then what's the point? So
100%. And then
I just try to be that example.
This way as well. I kind of view it this way as well. So I was raised in Iraq, obviously, and my father is, I guess you would say, he's one of the hardest working people that I've ever met in my life. This man has provided everything for us. He's, the reason why I'm the man that I am today. And something that he always tells me is that you, as a father, you don't want anybody to be better than you except for your own children. So you would only accept that your children would be better than you. And that's how he would it's the same that he would always say. It's absolutely true, because it goes back to your bloodline, right? As a child, when you grow up, you should automatically inherently say that this is my last name, this is my bloodline. If I don't do these tasks, I'm almost not fulfilling, I wouldn't say my purpose, but I'm not fulfilling I'm not making my bloodline proud. So do you have any expectations for children? I'm sure you do, right?
Yeah. My kids are pretty young. I've got a 6-year-old son and a 9-year-old daughter. And my daughter, she's a lot like me. She likes to challenge herself and push herself to do some hard things. And my son, he as well. He's just a super smart kid, really advanced. And so I know he's going to be much smarter than I am. And I'm already super proud of them. And they come down the basement and work out with me. And, my daughter, she's the fastest 9-year-old in the state. She ran track last year, got first place in the 100.
It's genetic, isn't it? It's genetic for you, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just working hard, man. They both work really hard. And I think they just see my example. And so they know that life isn't free and you got to work hard to get what you want. So.
Absolutely. You always notice this. So when it comes to the way that a family is shaped, if the kids are raised with only the mother, then they become a little too soft. And I'm not going to say they don't know how to deal with people, but especially the men, when they grow up, they become people pleasers, per se. And if they're only raised by the father, then there's a type of roughness that goes into them, where you can kind of tell that these guys were raised in a certain way that's very masculine. And this goes for both the kids who are girls and boys as well. And that's a thing that I've also noticed as well. So the dynamic of just the good cop, bad cop, usually the dad is the bad cop most times, sometimes it's the mom. But that dynamic just really works together. And I feel like kids as a whole, they need that. And some kids right now, whether it's based on culture, whether it's based on any reasons, they don't have that. So how do you go about that? I mean, if are you too harsh?
No, so I'm divorced, but my ex-wife and I have a really good parenting relationship. We get along well. We put our differences aside and we focus on the kids. We do what's important for them. And so I'm just super grateful that we're both really aligned with that. No matter what our differences are, it always comes back to the kids, and we put our differences aside and focus on them and do what they need. And so
100%.
we're really, we work well together. And we talk things through and try to figure out what the best option is for our children. So I'm really blessed in that way to have someone that can put those differences aside and just focus on the kids, So
it's absolutely not easy either. I'm assuming it's very difficult. No. I mean, just to go through something like that is extremely harsh.
Yep. It's rough, man. Not exactly what I had planned, but here we are. It's life.
Yeah, I have a gentleman that I know as well, and this guy, he was having issues. I mean, he's beyond wealthy. He's very wealthy, and he was having issues with his family as well, and his wife and his divorce. Obviously, I'm not going to name names, but this man was sleeping outside of his house, in his office, in his business office. And he was just doing that 3-4 days in a row, and it was just a complete mess. So, assumingly, I've never been through something like this. I've never been married, never been divorced. So obviously, I'm not going to understand the situation that goes into that, but I'm assuming there's a whole lot of things and a whole lot of aspects that go into it that would be extremely difficult in a way. And I'm sure that helps you and that gives you more of a drive to do the things that you want to do as well. Where it's like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to lift this. I'm going to, this is going to be much heavier. Cool, I've been through it. I'm going to put my energy towards the things that hurt me, and then I'm going to lift this weight up heavier than I've ever lifted it before. So that plays a big aspect as well.
Absolutely.
Would you say so?
Definitely channeling that energy, taking all those emotions and channeling that into something positive can be huge help and determination. And I use my kids to kind of dig deep for that grit and motivation quite often. And I'm just thinking about them gives me a whole nother level of determination. So absolutely.
100%. And then and then you had told me that you also meditate as well, and I'm a big fan of meditation. So I mean, how do you meditate? What kind of meditation do you do?
Yeah, so I got into it. I read a book on the like Tibetan kind of style, and just kind of quiet the mind, focus on the breath. That's how I really got into it. And since then, I'll listen to different meditations, guided meditations, and yeah, it's amazing how much it helps quiet your mind and focus and kind of organize your thoughts and just get yourself centered and ready for the day. So it's practice I try to do daily. Wake up, do some meditation, jump in the ice bath. If I have some time, I'll do some journaling and hit a workout. And
right,
great way to start the day, man.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what I do as well. And then my thing is sometimes there's people that view meditation as prayer almost, so they mix the two together. If you're a religious man, how do you go about that? Because I have questions about that myself. I meditate very often, but I also pray very often as well.
Yeah, I do as well.
And does that mix together for you, or I mean, how does that work? I mean, I've never tried it both together at the same time.
Yeah. So I was born in LDS Mormon family and community, and as I got older, and for me, it's just not really the religion that I wanted to follow. So I study a lot of different religions, and I try to glean what I can from those, and I feel like I still use prayer, and so that's kind of the prayer that I was brought up with, and I still kind of follow that same formula of prayer, I guess, if you will. But with time, I've kind of just morphed into my own kind of belief system, and prayer is huge. Meditation, it's awesome. I practice fasting pretty frequently. I think those are all powerful tools.
Absolutely, and I'm fasting right now. It detoxes your body in a way that's it's unbelievable, really, how it works.
It is, man.
And it also
really
makes you feel a little bit envious. Of course, it makes you feel envious as well of the people who don't have food, who don't have water. You're like, okay, I know what it feels like, so let me get back to the community, get back to those people. And for you as well, I mean, you've been meditating, you've been doing your thing for a very long time. You went very viral on TikTok as well. You had what, 11 million views? What was it?
Yeah, I think about 11 million views on my main video, and then I've got some others with a couple million. So
yeah, and then you get a lot of traction, and I mean, obviously people had a lot of stuff to say. I mean, what were they saying?
Yeah, I would say it's overwhelmingly positive. Most of the people have just been motivated and inspired, and it's been pretty amazing to see the amount of people that send me their ice bath videos, and they're asking me questions and they want to get into it. And, that's been just amazing and fun. And then of course you're going to get the haters out there who just want to, that's stupid. And why are you doing that?
Yeah.
And there's no health benefits. It's like, hey man, I can tell you for a fact there are, whether science backs me or not. I feel the effects, and it works for me. And maybe it's not going to work the same for everyone, but I have no doubt that it's been a huge benefit.
I mean, there's studies about it that prove that it's beneficial.
Yeah.
The people who say that it's no benefit they're using it as a shield. Anybody who hates, I believe they're shielding themselves from something. They don't want to take accountability.
You're exactly
for
right.
Not going into the bath themselves and trying it themselves, so they just shit on it as if it's a bad thing. It's true. I mean, there's a whole lot of studies as well. I mean, I read that there's it boosts testosterone, and there's a lot of health benefits to it that goes into it. And there's a whole entire article that talks about percentages and like lowers different types of diseases and the chance of diseases. Have you? I mean, you obviously felt a difference, right?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt, man. So I'm kind of just a health fanatic in my whole life. I'm always looking for that new kind of cutting edge biohack that I can practice. And anybody that's known me for a long time, they're like, yep, there's Cody doing that weird thing, whatever the new thing is. But out of all the health hacks I've tried, man, there's no question ice bath is one of the most powerful ones. And sauna, I love sauna as well.
There you go. Yep, I was just going to ask about that. So you have a couple of videos of you going into the smaller sauna. And we've talked about this before, and it went viral too. I mean,
Yeah, the sauna. I wish I had a full size real deal sauna, but for the time being, it's the best I can do, and it works great.
Yeah, yeah.
I've actually used that same little sauna to cut weight for powerlifting competitions. I spent 6 hours straight in that one time, cut 10 pounds in about
That's insane.
14 hours.
You spent 6 hours straight in a sauna.
Yeah, and I felt like death when I got out. It was probably not the smartest thing ever.
I mean, obviously you have water with you, right? You're drinking water every now and then.
No water, man.
No water at all.
No, until after weigh-ins. I had to wait. It was probably a little bit dumb, a little bit dangerous.
I mean, sure, yeah, but I mean, as long as you have supervision, I guess. Sometimes what ends up happening for me, I get extremely dizzy when I go into the sauna because I work out for about an hour or so. I don't really do more than that. And I go into the sauna for about 10, 15 minutes just to kind of continue that sweat.
That's the best.
That makes sense. And I meditate, and the second I walk out, I have never in my life taken anybody to the sauna, walked out, and then they said, I don't feel good. There's a feeling that goes to it, like the air, the breeze that goes into it, where it's like, I feel like I was just born again. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's incredible feeling, and I wish more people would try these things, sauna and ice bath, and these different extremes, pushing our bodies like this. We kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, how we don't have these physical stressors in our life anymore. Life's so convenient and easy, and if you're not creating these stresses for yourself, you're just going to end up with emotional stress, anxiety, depression, and all these terrible internal things that we create because we don't have the external stressors. So I think in this day and age, with so many commodities and just everything is just so easy to do, air conditioning's everywhere, and our bodies just don't get these environmental stressors or physical stressors. So we have to go seek these out. And if you're not, you're just going to have disease and health issues, man.
100%. And then a lot of the disease, I mean, this is kind of going far away from science in a way, but a lot of diseases that occur in your mind are worsened because of you. So, for example, let's say you get a cold and you feel like you're absolutely doing terrible and you can't get up out of bed, this and that. The cold is going to be worse, right? You're gonna wake up feeling worse, and then that goes back into anything. It's just really internal beliefs. And if, for example, let's say I get a cold, I get up, I'm like, okay, I still got to work. Somebody got to pay the bills. Something's got to happen. I'm still going to get up. And I'm not going to let that affect me. I'm not going to let that bring me down. So what's a cold, right? To other people, a cold could be super tired, whatever, and it could last much longer than it needs to last just because of your internal thoughts. So sicknesses, diseases, this and that, they last longer.
I agree with you 100%, man. It's mindset. Our minds are way more powerful than we give credit to. And it just kind of ties back into the ice bath thing. Some of these people ever decide to go try this, the second you get in, your body says, oh shit, get me out of here. I hate this. This is not good. and you got to tell yourself, like, hey, calm down. It's okay. Our minds are much more powerful than we give them credit for. And people it's a great way to train your mind to push through difficult things. And just having that daily practice is really helping strengthen my mind and help push me in other ways.
All consistency. Absolutely. It's all consistency from what I've seen as well. You're the king of consistency. I mean, I don't know anybody who's going into an ice bath every single day for a whole entire winter outside. I mean, if for those watching, if you see the videos, it's absolutely insane how you do it.
Yeah, it sucked, man. There was a couple days, I think it hit -20 was the coldest day Fahrenheit. So that's like like 30 Celsius. And it was pretty brutal, man. Like I was actually colder getting out of the water. So the second I got out and my body's all wet, the water's freezing to my body almost instantly.
And And then what do
You
you
just
do
got to tell
afterwards?
yourself it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just go straight inside, dry off. Typically, I'd stay outside and take some deep breaths, kind of soak up the cold air. But on that day, it literally hurt just being outside. So straight in the house,
Yeah.
got dried off, and then I'll usually go straight into a workout. Just do a real slow warm up, and it helps get my body heated back up pretty quickly, but still get that brown fat activation that you're after.
Great. And then I also heard, I mean, I'm not sure how true this is, but individuals who, for example, go into the sauna and then right away walk out the sauna into a cold environment and drink cold water, that can cause some type of shock that can happen internally towards them. So there's cautions and health things that you need to look at before you indulge in these
You're
things.
Absolutely right. There's no doubt about that. And I've had people ask me with heart conditions, is this safe for me to do? And it's the same thing I always say is consult your physician. I'm not a healthcare professional, but I do believe there's a lot of benefits to these hacks. But
you
always need to talk to your doctor, make sure it's safe for you, and incrementally try these things. If it is safe, just do it in small doses. I actually had a friend who did an ice bath for 7 minutes on their very first time and got kind of sick. I think it was just too much shock on their body. And you really do need to pace it, take your time. There are certain people who are just extremely mentally tough, and they are going to be able to push farther than most people. And you still got to be cautious. There is a level of danger involved with some of this stuff. So you got to be smart, listen to your body.
Yeah.
Know your limits.
When is it enough? Like when are you like, okay, damn, I'm done. I can't do anymore.
Yeah, that's a great question. So once it doesn't hurt or feel cold, that's when it's like you really, really need to get out and get warm and back up. If you're just starting out,
once it doesn't hurt,
I recommend like 2 to 3 minutes is a great place to start. If you get 30 seconds, I've had people that they get in and it's just excruciating for them. 30 seconds is great, man. It's intense cold. It's something you want to work up to, but I would say 3 to 5 minutes. I wouldn't go much more than that if you're a beginner. With time, you can push your body, and your body will tell you. The longest I've done is 10 minutes, and that's pushing it. I mean, it took several hours to warm up, and but the big reason you need to work up to it. Yeah.
Go ahead, brother. Why do you tell me to?
Oh, so I was just gonna say the big reason you want to train up to it is training your circulation to stay open, and especially your extremities, your arms and legs and feet. Because if they're not strong enough, they haven't had that ability to stay open. When you go on those long lengths of time, those capillaries, veins, they'll close up, and you do risk things like frostbite and things like that. So you can train your body to where you can go for a long time. I think Wim Hof holds the record at like 2 hours. When I was about 25, my metabolism slowed down. Prior to that, I would eat pizza, hamburgers. As long as I was working out hard, I would get in amazing shape.
Yeah.
And around 25, my metabolism slowed down, and I really started to have to pay attention to my diet. And it was kind of funny. I didn't really think about it much, but I went on vacation. We came back, and I was looking at pictures, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I was quite a bit softer than I had been in the past. So that's when I really started to key in on like diet is everything, and not just for physical appearances though, but energy, mental health, like so many things. Diet's key. That I think a lot of young kids kind of take for granted, and they can get away with eating that garbage, but they would really benefit from a focused, healthy diet. Not only for the benefits, but it kind of helps just establish that lifestyle and keep it a habit, so that, they don't have to try to break those habits or change the lifestyle later on when it's a little bit more difficult.
entirely. And then I have a lot of people come to me that ask me questions and say, less about my body, more about because I go to the gym very often. I'm on a diet as well, not on a diet, but I really watch what I eat as well. I have people come to me and ask me and say, hey, where do I start? What do I do? How do I how do I start a business? What do I do? How do I feel better about myself? And the answer is always go to the gym. There's no other answer for me. You feel depressed, go to the gym.
For sure.
Right, have a sense of accomplishment because nowadays kids are developing ADHD. I mean, ADHD is being developed as we speak, right? If somebody's watching even clips of mine, right, they're just scrolling through, next. Oh, this one is interesting, cool. Okay, watched it, next. I don't like this one, next. So it's developing a type of attention disorder. And I don't believe, I believe these things are truly developed. I mean, I was diagnosed with ADHD. I grew up, I don't have an issue with it. I don't take any pills. I'm completely fine and I can focus. So it's a development thing. And I think that's really affecting our generation. And clearly, I mean, you have some concerns about this as well. I would be worried if you didn't, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man. And something I pay attention with my own kids and make sure that they're eating what's right and what's healthy. And I think it's a lot easier for them just because they see me as an example, and their mom, of course, she eats healthy. So I think being an example is probably the best way to handle it as a parent. And you're going to have healthy foods in your house if you're eating a healthy lifestyle, and so those things won't be really an option. And your kids just kind of learn and grow up knowing that this is the way to be.
100%. And then speaking about being an example for those kids who may not have that example figure, or their father just may not be a parent in their life. There's a lot of questions that go into it, as if who's going to be their example, what should they do? Because not everybody's lucky enough to have an example. So I mean, to those people, what would you recommend for them?
Yeah, it's a lot tougher. You're going to have to. They're definitely going to have more discipline. They're going to have to dive more into it and kind of learn and understand what is healthy and what's not. I think that's a big issue for a lot of people. They don't understand what healthy foods are. And, a lot of people think just eating a salad is healthy. It's like, yeah, but you're putting a ton of other unhealthy things on that. And so it just poses more challenges that you can absolutely overcome. I was listening to a really interesting podcast on longevity by Dr. David Sinclair. He's a world-leading expert on longevity, and he talked about how 80% of our DNA is within our control. So I often hear people say, yeah, well, your genetics are great. It's like, no, man, you can change 80%. That's the vast majority of your body is changeable by the foods you eat, the stimulus you give your body, rest, just all these factors. So it's not really a great excuse.
Yeah, 100%. And again, we go back to the point where it's like people would rather deflect responsibility than take responsibility for something. A lot of people who we were talking about would just rather hate. They don't know. They have no idea. They've never been through something, and they don't know how to react to it, so they'd rather just run away from it. And especially nowadays, social media and a lot of outlets are created for people to escape. So we have movies, we have TikTok, we have social media as a whole, basically. We have activities that we do outside, and everybody just wants to escape. You're going through stuff. Here's some weed. Go smoke weed. You're depressed. You're not feeling good about yourself. Go to a bar. Go drink. Go talk to some girls. Some girls will fix that temporarily, possibly, but in the long term, you have to be able to rely on yourself.
Yeah, and it's exactly like you're talking about. Those things are all just deflecting. You're not coping with whatever it is that's bothering you. You're going to go drink away your sorrows or smoke away the issue, and ultimately you have to deal with it. And it's just like you just said, it's deflection. They're putting it off until a later date, and better to just face life head on and work through each challenge as it comes so that they don't stack up.
Absolutely, 100%. Well, I definitely appreciate you for coming on the podcast. I mean, it's obviously a pleasure. all of your links will be in the description. You also have a YouTube channel as well with like around 20K ish. You do vlogs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm trying to kind of work on that, and I want to get more content on diet and exercise on there, and hopefully get that to grow a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll always be there to support, and you know, we'll get you clips. For those who are watching, man, we'll get you support that you need. Definitely a huge inspiration to not only me, but to a lot of people who are watching you do these things. And you know, after I watched your videos, it was like I truly want to dub myself in an ice bath now. It's almost a challenge.
Yeah, man.
So when the opportunity comes, you know, unless I create the opportunity myself, but hopefully sometime soon I'll be able to do that experience. It's really like,
dude, I'm gonna look forward to seeing that.
Man, we'll see how it goes. All right, brother. Well, thank you so much. I definitely appreciate you for your time.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and look forward to seeing more of your content, bro.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.